Imagine ruling a kingdom while battling a debilitating disease. This was the reality for Baldwin IV of Jerusalem. But who exactly was he? In the heart of the 12th century, precisely in the year 1161, a future king was born. Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, a child of destiny, came into a world teetering on the edge of constant change. He was born into the prestigious and influential family of Amalric I, the King of Jerusalem, a lineage that held the fate of Jerusalem in its hands. Jerusalem during his time was a gem desired by many. Its strategic importance was unmatched, lying at the crossroads of three continents: Asia, Africa, and Europe. This holy city was perpetually under the looming shadow of invasions, a coveted prize in the ruthless game of power. The city's significance transcended the geopolitical sphere, boasting a deeply spiritual aura that attracted believers from all corners of the world. Baldwin's early life was marked by privilege and education suitable for a future king, but it was not a life of leisure and ease. The young prince was groomed for leadership, trained in the art of warfare, diplomacy, and governance. At the same time, he was introduced to the complex and intricate web of alliances and rivalries that defined the politics of the era. Yet beneath the veneer of royal privilege, a personal battle was brewing. A battle not against external foes, but against a disease that was slowly gnawing at him from within. A disease that would later earn him the title, the Leper King. Baldwin IV's life was a paradox of power and vulnerability, resilience and frailty. His story is a testament to human strength in the face of adversity and the indomitable spirit that refuses to bow down to the cruelties of fate. Born into a world of war and intrigue, Baldwin IV was destined for a unique path. And so, our journey into the enigma of a king begins as we seek to unravel the life of Baldwin IV, the Leper King of Jerusalem. Baldwin IV's reign was not supposed to happen, yet destiny had other plans. In the unpredictable game of thrones, the unexpected often becomes the norm. Baldwin IV, born in the year 1158, was the third son of Amalric I of Jerusalem. His path to the throne was not direct. He was the younger brother, the third in line, and not groomed for kingship, but fate had a different plan in store. Baldwin's older brother, also named Baldwin, but the third of his name, was the king. He was a ruler who had shown promise. However, his reign was cut short, and the kingdom was thrown into uncertainty. Baldwin III, at the prime of his life, succumbed to an unexpected illness in the year 1163. This left the kingdom without a king and a power vacuum that needed to be filled. This is when our unexpected king, Baldwin IV, entered the scene. He was a mere boy of 13, suddenly thrust into the world of power, politics, and daunting responsibilities. The youth had to navigate the complexities of ruling a kingdom in one of the most tumultuous regions of the world. It was a position he was unprepared for, but one he had to embrace nonetheless. Baldwin IV's early rule was fraught with challenges. He was a boy king in a world of seasoned warriors and cunning diplomats. He had to learn quickly, make decisions that would impact the lives of thousands, and keep his kingdom safe from external threats. All this while battling the spectre of his own mortality. His reign was marked by a constant struggle to maintain control, not just of his kingdom, but of his own fate. He was a king who was not supposed to be king, a ruler who was not supposed to rule, but he did. Against all odds, he did. Baldwin IV was thrust into power, but a far greater challenge awaited him. A king's power is often defined by their strength, but what happens when that strength is compromised? Enter Baldwin IV, King of Jerusalem, who in an ironic twist of fate was afflicted with one of the most stigmatized diseases of his time, leprosy. A disease that ravages the body, leprosy was a death sentence in the 12th century, and those who contracted it were often shunned and ostracized. But for Baldwin IV, it was a challenge he refused to concede to. In the prime of his youth, Baldwin IV was struck by this devastating ailment. The physical challenges were immense, and yet he chose to rise above them. This was a king who refused to be dictated by his circumstances, a king who would not let his illness define him. The stigma attached to leprosy was profound. Some viewed it as divine punishment, others as a sign of moral failing. But Baldwin IV did not let the perceptions of others cloud his vision. He saw it not as a weakness, but as a test of his mettle, a test he was determined to pass. Baldwin IV's resilience in the face of adversity was nothing short of extraordinary. His determination to rule despite his condition, to not just survive but thrive, was testament to his character. His rule, though marked by the physical constraints of his affliction, was characterized by political astuteness and strategic brilliance. In the face of adversity, Baldwin IV demonstrated an indomitable spirit, a strength of character that outshone his physical frailty. He refused to be sidelined by his disease, choosing instead to lead his kingdom with strength and dignity. His resilience, his determination, and his refusal to be defined by his illness set him apart. Baldwin IV was more than his illness. He was a king who refused to let his disease define him. His story is a testament to the power of the human spirit, to the ability to rise above adversity and stigma, and to the will to lead despite the odds. In a time of religious warfare, Baldwin IV stood as a beacon of hope for Jerusalem. In the 12th century, the Holy Land was a battleground. The Crusades, a series of religious wars, swept across the region in a tempest of blood and steel. Yet amidst this chaos, one figure emerged as a beacon of hope: Baldwin IV of Jerusalem. Baldwin was more than just a leper king. He was a warrior king, a tactical genius who defied the odds. His reign was marked by a series of military campaigns against Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria. These campaigns were not just about defending Jerusalem, but were also about asserting Christian dominance in the region. One of Baldwin's most significant victories was the Battle of Montgisart. In the face of a massive enemy force, Baldwin led a small army of knights and foot soldiers. Despite the odds, Baldwin didn't flinch. He understood the terrain, he knew his men, and most importantly, he believed in his cause. The battle was fierce, but Baldwin's tactical prowess shone through. He used the landscape to his advantage, forcing the enemy into narrow passes, where their superior numbers meant little. The result was a stunning victory for Baldwin and a severe blow to Saladin's ambitions. But Baldwin's leadership wasn't just about winning battles. It was about inspiring his people, giving them hope in a time of uncertainty. His illness, his leprosy, was public knowledge, but rather than weakening him in the eyes of his people, it only made him a more inspirational figure. They saw a king who, despite his affliction, was willing to lead them into battle, to risk everything for their safety and their faith. Baldwin IV's leadership during the Crusades demonstrated his strategic mind and fearless spirit. He was a king who knew the cost of war, yet was willing to pay it. A king who understood the importance of hope in times of despair. His reign was a testament to the power of faith, the strength of determination, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Every reign must end, and Baldwin IV's was no exception. As the years wore on, Baldwin's health spiraled downward, his body succumbing to the relentless clutches of leprosy. His physical deterioration was a stark contrast to his mental resolve, which remained unshakable until the very end. The crippling disease was an uninvited guest, slowly stealing away his strength, his mobility, and ultimately, his life. The spectre of his impending demise hung over the kingdom like a shroud, casting a long shadow on the political landscape. With no children of his own, the question of succession loomed large, sparking a crisis that would shake the kingdom to its core. The throne of Jerusalem was a coveted prize, a beacon of power and prestige. Many sought to claim it, their ambitions fueled by the tantalizing prospect of ruling the holy city. Yet Baldwin's choice fell on his young sister Sibylla and her son Baldwin V. His decision, though well-intentioned, only intensified the brewing storm of contention. In the spring of 1185, Baldwin IV breathed his last, the flame of his life extinguished by the relentless march of his disease. His death marked the end of an era, a period of relative peace and prosperity in Jerusalem. His reign, though marred by his affliction, was a testament to his indomitable spirit and unwavering resolve. Baldwin VI's impact on Jerusalem was profound and far-reaching. Despite his illness, he was a beacon of strength, leading his kingdom through turbulent times with unwavering resolve. His reign was not just about holding power, it was about inspiring his people, about instilling in them a sense of hope and resilience, even in the face of the most daunting adversities. As we look back on his life, we see a man who refused to be defined by his disease. A king who fought not just for his throne, but for the dignity and welfare of his people. His story is not just about the struggle for power, It's about the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. Baldwin IV's story is a testament to the human spirit, showing us that even in the face of adversity one can lead and inspire. Baldwin IV's reign has ended, but his legacy lives on. This remarkable king, despite the constraints of his debilitating illness, led Jerusalem through one of its most tumultuous periods. His life was a testament to determination and resilience. Against all odds, Baldwin managed to rule effectively, making strategic decisions that helped secure Jerusalem's future. His reign, marked by the Crusades, was a time of turmoil and transformation. Yet through it all, Baldwin remained steadfast, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. His courage in the face of adversity, his astute mind in strategy, and his unwavering dedication to his kingdom set him apart. His illness, while a significant part of his narrative, never defined him. Instead, it was his indomitable spirit and his strategic acumen that etched his place in history. Baldwin IV, the Leper King of Jerusalem, remains an enigma, a symbol of resilience and determination, forever etched in the annals of history.